Knowledge Bandara, an animated video presenting the world's best-selling books.
Hello friends, welcome back to Knowledge Bandara. Today we embark on a fascinating journey into the heart of South Indian culture and we are exploring the enchanting world of Bhutakola. In India, the word Bhut is usually used for hostile entity and is generally associated with evil spirits, ghosts and Bhuta Pret. But in Tulu, a South Indian language, Bhuta and Daiva both mean the same. It means God or a deity. Kola signifies a performance. This ancient practice is a harmonious blend of dance, music and storytelling. A kola is performed overnight and usually goes from dusk to dawn. There are three types of holy spirits: one at home for the welfare of the family, one that safeguards the land, we call it Kshetrapala, and the one that protects a village. Bhutakola is a way of offering food to the holy spirits, which involves a Pambada, one who dresses as the holy spirit, becoming possessed and acts as an oracle for the deity being channelized. So, let's talk about origins and evolution of Bhutakola. The genesis of Bhutakola lies covered in the mists of time, making it challenging to pinpoint the exact moment of its inception. However, legends and oral traditions suggest that Bhutakola traces its roots to ancient animistic and tribal practices prevalent in the region. It is believed that these rituals were medium through which communities communicated with the spiritual realm, seeking protection and prosperity. People in the villages worship deities to protect their land. The belief in the practice of Bhutaradhane was established way back in the 17th century. So it can be said that this dance performance ritual started around 500 years ago. One notable reference comes from Sangam literature, where description of similar rituals and performances can be found. These texts provide insights into the cultural practices of ancient South India, offering a glimpse into the roots of Bhutakola. As South India evolved through different dynasties and cultural shifts, so too did Bhutakola undergo a fascinating evolution. The ritual adapted to changing societal norms, incorporating elements from Hindu mythology and regional folklore. Over time, Bhutakola transformed from a tribal practice into a more structured and elaborated performance art, gaining recognition and acceptance beyond its initial tribal boundaries. The ritual's evolution is also intertwined with the broader historical narrative of South India, reflecting influences from various dynasties such as Cholas, Hoysalas and Vijayanagara Empire. These historical connections imbue Bhutakola with layers of complexity, making it a dynamic cultural phenomenon. Now let us explore the most worshipped Daivas and their background. First, Koragajja is the most worshipped Daiva by Tulu people and is prayed to for help in solving any problem, to get back something lost or to get any work done on time. Second, Panjurli, a boar spirit that is worshipped to ward off the menace of wild boars in order to protect crops. According to Tulu mythology, a wild boar died in Lord Shiva's pleasure garden. The boar's offspring was adopted by goddess Parvati. The young boar became destructive as he grew older and began destroying the plants and trees in Lord Shiva's garden. Lord Shiva became upset by this and decided to kill him. Goddess Parvati, however, defended the boar and asked her husband to pardon him. So instead of killing him, Lord Shiva banished the boar to earth as his Gana, Shiva Gana, and tasked him with protecting the people of earth and assured him that he would be revered by the people as a protector god. This particular boar became a Bhuta, divine spirit known as Panjurli. Third, Babbarya, the god of seas, is worshipped mostly by members of fishing community. Fourth, Kalkuda and Kallurti are Daivas who are brother and sister. According to legend, Kalkuda was a great sculptor who built the Gommateshwara statue in Shravanabelagala. After he completed building beautiful temples and monumental statues, the ruler of Karkala cut off his left arm and right leg so that he could not create such beautiful sculptures for any other king. On seeing brother's state, Kallurti vowed to take revenge and requested Lord Shiva to turn them into deities. Shiva agreed, and the pair then took violent revenge on the king, his family and his kingdom. Their destruction was only stopped when master magician promised them that they would be worshipped as and when how they wanted. Fifth, Guliga. As per legend, he was born out of stone. The goddess Parvati discovered this stone in a pile of ash. Guliga was created when Lord Shiva flung this ash into the water and was sent to Lord Vishnu after his birth so that he may serve him. However, Guliga was extremely destructive and this greatly annoyed Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu exiled Guliga to earth as a result and tasked him with protecting the people on earth. There are other popular deities in these regions are Haiguli, Marilchikku, Chaundi, Veerabhadra, Kshetrapala, Yaksha and many more. These divine channeling men paint and dress themselves up according to the deities. Each deity has its specific discipline with regard to colors, flowers and decor. The contemporary landscape presents Bhutakola with a countless of challenges. Urbanization, changing lifestyles and the influence of globalization pose threats to traditional practice. Younger generation may find themselves drawn to modern forms of entertainment, leading to potential decline in the interest and participation in Bhutakola. Movies like Kantara, which has traditional rituals, should come in more numbers. Kolas are lavish affairs. Sometimes a kola may cost more than a South Indian wedding. It can cost anywhere between 5 to 10 lakh rupees. A kola is organized for around 2 to 3 days. The organizing family invites the villagers and arranges food for the whole community during these 2 or 3 days. Kola involves a procession, and this divine medium starts with the traditional folklore called padanas that are recited. During the procession, villagers burst crackers. The recitals in the old Tulu tell about the deity's origin and how it came to this present location. The Bhutakola is performed in small local communities and rural areas. It is originally performed near the temple of the village's deity, which is mainly found to be close to open field. So, in conclusion, Bhutakola stands not just as a dance form but as a living testament to the traditions that have shaped the cultural identity of South India. Its performances are bridge between the ancient and the contemporary, a vibrant expression of stories that resonate through generations. So let us respect and appreciate it. If you get a chance to watch, I would request you to actively participate in the safeguarding of these traditions. So that's it. I hope you have liked this video. See you in my next video. Bye.
What?